In today's society, we are heavily influenced by others. For example, when you are growing up in your early years, your parents heavily influence you as they make most of your decisions, like what school you go to, what your punishments and rules are, and what activities you do. And then, once you grow out of your parents' influence, you are then influenced by your peers. They influence who you hang out with, what you wear, and how you act, which really inhibits you from making your own decisions as one tries to conform to their peers. Once you leave for college and are on your own, while you may think you're finally making your own decisions, there are still people out there trying to influence you, like professors, significant others, and once again your peers. So the question is, in a culture where we are bombarded with other people trying to define us, how do we make decisions for ourselves? The first reason is shown in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. It explains 30 unalienable human rights that everybody has the right to have. Some examples are Article 1. All beings are born free and equal in dignity and rights. They are endowed with reason and conscience and should act towards one another in spirit of brotherhood. Article 13. Everyone has the right to freedom of movement and residence within the borders of each state. Everybody has the right to leave any country, including his own, and return to his country. Article 18. Everyone has the right to freedom of thought, conscience, and religion. This right includes freedom to change his religion or belief, and freedom, either alone or in community with others in a public or private, to manifest his religion or belief in teaching, practice, worship, and observance. Article 19. Everyone has the right to freedom of opinion and expression. This right includes freedom to hold opinions without interference and to seek, receive, and impart information and ideas through any media and regardless of frontiers. All of these examples provide individuals with basic human rights, which will help them become their own person and not what the government wants them to do. Whether it's their right to leave countries, freedom of thought, or freedom of opinion, everybody has these rights to make sure that people can make their own decisions, with enforcement from the government. My second reason is shown in Malcolm Gladwell's book, The Tipping Point. Throughout this book, Gladwell explains why people do certain things in certain situations, and also defines them into three main categories: connectors, mavens, and salesmen. Similar to its name, connectors connect people to people, mavens come up with the ideas, and salesmen bring the ideas to life and help them get to the right people. He also explains principles like the bystander effect, stating how we are influenced by the people around us so greatly that they affect our actions. So going back to the main question, how do we make decisions for ourselves when we are influenced by so many others? Even though Gladwell attempts to define everyone into these three main categories, it fails to acknowledge that some people will go out of the box and just simply do what they want. Psychologists like Gladwell often try to define individuals into a broader category, but every single person is different, so it's difficult to do that. So, how do we make decisions for ourselves? By going out of the box and not falling into the bystander effect. Because even though psychologists may try to categorize individuals, personalities and individualism will overpower any of them. Another example of this is shown in Arthur Miller's play The Crucible. This play follows Salem, Massachusetts, and the historically famous Salem witch trials. After Abigail Williams, Betty Paris, Mary Warren, and a couple other girls dance around a fire, they are accused of practicing witchcraft, but instantly blame it on Tituba, the Paris' servant. After this accusation, there is a witch hunt all over Salem trying to figure out who's a witch. And in the center of it is Abigail Williams, who forces the other girls to lie and say that they are being affected by these witches. Eventually, Mary Warren has had enough of this lying and claims that the girls are making it all up, which is very brave for Mary since all the rest of the girls were simply following Abigail. Even though Mary tries to tell the truth, Abigail overpowers her and does not tell the truth. This shows that personalities and individualism helps one make decisions for themselves, because Mary Warren wanted to stand up for those who were telling lies and getting hurt, which led her to having the drive to accuse Abigail Williams. The last example is shown in the book 1984, written by George Orwell. This book is set in a utopian or fake society where the government has complete and total control on all of its inhabitants. Winston Smith, a member of the society, rejects this idea of total control, and therefore tries to do anything to stop it. He eventually meets this girl named Julia who has a similar outlook on the government and instantly falls in love with her. As they rebel their way into being together, they eventually get caught and are taken into their version of jail. Winston gets tortured by many machines until he favors the government, but one thing stops him from doing so: his love for Julia. Since he loved Julia so much, he said that he would never betray her, meaning he would never favor the government. This brings me to my third reason how people make decisions for themselves. It's with the help of love. When someone falls in love, it's a very powerful thing, as it usually consumes their entire life, therefore affecting their decisions. So even though other people are trying to persuade you, things like love can help you make your own decisions. Even though we live in a life consumed by other influences that change our decisions, there are things that prevent this from happening. Those are the government, our personalities and drive for individualism, and our love. With these three ideas, they can help people make their own decisions and not fall into the temptation of others more powerful.